All right, here we go. NLD, it's Trill Crime time. That's right. Can't bullshit the bullshitters. I told you I was going to say that. Welcome, everyone. We got, you know what? I think I can do this. Hold on. I can do this real quick because it is Trill Crime. So I changed your name to Kelly 2 Trill.
I'll take it.
Now I'm going to change mine to Otis B. Trill, and of course the OG Trillness himself, Bobby 2 Trill. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, man.
We're hello CW, hello Tom's World,
CW from over the pond.
Oh yeah, across the pond. Man, she is here like every show, man. We have some faithfuls, and I'm not sure why. Maybe after this episode. This is just, as I mentioned, a general discussion. In the description, as I mentioned as well, the I'm working on some stuff, trying to get some people or a guest on who is friends with Cheryl Coker. And that I have not heard back from her yet. And so I'm kind of waiting. We were going to talk a little bit about that. There's obviously nothing new, as me and Bobby 2 Trill were talking about. Being here locally, I don't think there's going to be anything new with Cheryl Coker until we do something, until we bring it up. And I think we're all pretty determined on shedding new light on a lot of these cases. The Summer Wells case that we talked about here recently. And obviously nothing really new there. We were going to talk some Idaho 4. It doesn't seem to be a whole lot going there. So we're just having an open discussion. Those in the chat, if you have a case, we like the unsolved cases. I think we're all on the same page there. We like the intrigue of the unsolved. So if you have any unsolved cases that you would like to bring up in the chat, please do so. How is everyone doing? Kelly 2 Trill, you said you got pink eye in both eyes. And here's the funny thing. Not
Courtesy
really
of my
funny.
kids.
I had that same thing like a year ago. I got it in my left eye first, and then my right eye started. And my right eye kept what it did. I had a little bump on my eyelid. This is way off topic. I had a little bump on my eyelid. And I don't know. I don't know if it was like a cyst or whatever. It wasn't like huge, but it's always been there for like quite some time. And this eye, ever since I got that pink eye or that cold in my eye, I don't even know if it was pink eye. It could have just been a cold in my eye. This eye, my right eye, my left eye was good in like a couple weeks. My right eye continued up until about, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago.
That's crazy.
Would continue to water and crust up out in the corner. What was happening is my body was pushing that bump out through the inside of my eyelid. So I come home and I feel like I got something scratchy in my eye. So I go like this, and there's this. I got pictures. I took fucking pictures of this shit.
I probably would have jarred it, so you're better than me.
Well, yes, we you put it little eye. It was the weirdest thing. It pushed it out. My eye hasn't watered since. I think my eye was watering and crusting all the time to try and push it out, and it did. It came out.
I might have your answer for you.
What?
That's it'd be like a gland stone. I never heard of anything like this until I had a saliva stone, right? I never heard of that. What the hell is a saliva stone? Well, my jaw, it got infected, it grew up real big and stuff. And it's just like a kidney stone or anything else. My body was trying to push this stone out of a saliva gland. It hurt like hell. Like somebody hit me in the face with a hammer or something. So I had to go in, they had to cut it open and splice it. But you can get those stones coming out of different glands in your body.
It was crazy. I told Mrs. Dreds at work, I was like, man, it feels like something is scratching my friggin' eyeball.
Weird.
like up here. I was like, and it hurts. Alien implant
Yeah,
CW.
it is. I agree.
I've had kidney stones, but that's it, and those hurt
Oh,
like hell too.
Never had those. Never
They're
had
not
those.
fun.
I don't want
Yeah,
them.
I've seen it take grown, big,
Yeah.
burly men
Yeah.
down to their knees, and I don't want that because I am not that big burly guy.
Me neither.
I was
Uh,
6 months pregnant and couldn't take anything for the pain, so it was a lot of fun.
My
out.
goodness.
Um, Kelly Tutrill, have you heard of the solder kids? The disappearance in the house, a house fire. The name sounds
Doesn't sound
familiar. Of course, Bobby Tutrill brought this up. This was in West Virginia in the 40s.
1945.
Give us a little rundown because you know a little bit more about it. You said you've been looking into this a little bit. This is a case that you said like spanned 50 years.
Oh
A
yeah.
lot of speculation going on about this. Give us a little rundown.
Just house fire one night. It was on Christmas Eve, actually, 1945. And this family, there was 8 kids, I do believe, in the house. The mother and the father, they were both immigrants from Italy. But this was big Italy community here in West Virginia down
It's
there.
where a lot of immigrants went there,
Yeah.
and of course New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess this guy, I think his name was George Sauter, was his name, the father. He was big time against Mussolini in the 40s, and wasn't going over well in his community full of Italian people who were pro Mussolini. And they think this might have something to do with it because he was, just so outspoken and people hated him. But anyway, one night their house had caught on fire, and when it took about 45 minutes for the entire house to burn down. Okay, they got some of their kids out, but there was 5 kids that were still unaccounted for in the house. All young kids. I think all of them were under the age of 10 years old.
Yeah. You
And
said the oldest was like 8 or
8 or
9
9,
years.
maybe 10. He was a
Yeah.
boy,
Wow.
very old. But when they investigated this, they found no bones, no ashes. They just figured that they all, turned to ash, which they were separated from separate sides of
and
the
we
house.
know from looking into these cases, we know bones don't just turn to ash when you set them on fire.
No.
Bones do not burn easily. Takes an extreme amount. And when you're cremated, there's I guess that's a controlled fire at a certain temperature. You're not going to get that from a house fire.
Yeah, it's over 2,000 degrees for over 2 hours.
Yeah, and you're not getting that from a house fire.
No.
So there's no bones.
And even if
for the 5 kids,
you're still going to find some teeth or a bone here or a bone
absolutely,
there, skull or something.
Yeah, even through cremation, if you look at ashes, I know my weird oddities things, but you can actually find chunks of the bone, like pieces still. So you would think they'd find something. That's crazy.
Something.
You'd think so.
Yeah.
And so the parents never believed, obviously, that they had died in the fire. The whole community didn't really believe that they had died in the fire, but that was the official investigators.
So it was just the 5 kids that that were unaccounted for. So they had
other kids that they got out with, 3 of them, but the 5 who were upstairs had all perished.
They perished, and then
or they say,
and then the 3 because there was 8 kids, and 3 of them were said to have died in the fire.
5 of them.
Oh, 5 of them died in the fire.
did.
The 3 are unaccounted for. So
No,
did
the parents got them?
Oh, the parents got them. So okay, so
they got the kids who were down where they were, but they couldn't get upstairs because the fire was too bad. He couldn't go up and save his kids. But the fires were, oddly enough, pretty much focused in those rooms and at the front door. They called it an electrical fire, officially. But the whole house was burnt down. They didn't find any electric stuff. But it seemed like they wanted just to get it,
shove it under the rug.
Fuck this guy. He's anti-Mussolini anyway, kind of deal.
But
anyway, the parents went on this whole thing where they got billboards and stuff made up, and those billboards were standing in West Virginia for over 50 years.
Yeah.
you could go there 10 years ago and see, these billboards that said, "Where are the Solder children at?" and stuff.
Mm.
So and we were talking about, like with the Summer Wells case about the
Yeah.
parents leaving town and stuff like that, and didn't really care about the investigation.
Didn't
Well,
seem to, go about having their child missing, like us as parents would think you would do.
yeah.
Yeah.
And these parents did the complete opposite. Over the years, the father died in 1969, the mother died in 1989. But over the years, the father and the mother, no matter where the tip came from in the country, if somebody in California said, "I seen one of these kids," they would go there and investigate themselves. They stayed
That should
around
be.
the same town.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were. You could tell these parents, they spent their entire lives looking for these kids because they knew in their minds that these kids were taken and their house was set on fire. Years later, one of the boys supposedly sent them a picture of him as an adult, and they got these pictures online, and you could put them side by side. And as an adult, he has a lot of the same characteristics as the kid did, the eyebrows and everything. I mean, it's pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
And he claimed that he was one of the boys, but he couldn't come back home, couldn't talk to him, none of that. And he was an adult at the time. And so they kept getting these tips coming in. Like, I seen these kids at a restaurant. I served them at the restaurant the night that the house burned down. And the mother saying that she had woke up in the morning that morning to hear what sounded like somebody threw, something on the roof, and it rolled off like a rock, and then their house was on fire.
Molotov cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they were finishing the house off. It's a 1945 missing persons case, but the official story is that they died in the fire, even though they found
Yet there's
bones.
no evidence whatsoever of there being anybody that was actually murdered in the fire.
Yeah. So I've been getting back into this case a little bit, and it's just such an interesting.
That is interesting.
And where do these
The
kids
name
go?
sounds familiar, but I don't remember that case. The name
Yeah.
sounds super familiar for some reason though.
They are such cute kids too. They got pictures of these kids and stuff, and they're just adorable. And you could just tell the parents' love over the years. The mother and father never stopped, never.
And as you say, Kelly, that's how it should be.
Yep.
That's why there is that speculation out there that casts that shadow of doubt that Candace and Don
Yeah.
and Candace and Don are a little is sus to us. A little boom, a little
I was gonna say
tribute.
we're gonna get a boom now.
We're gonna boom it. Yeah, good old drip drop.
Yeah.
And that's why they are suspect. And that's why we speculate about the parents having something to do with it, because that's just odd. It's odd to investigators when they have a suspect or a person of interest, and it's a parent of a child who's maybe been murdered, or their spouse, and they don't really show. Yes, we all grieve differently. I get that. We all handle that differently. But there you would think there would be some common threads, like there's going to be. I don't know. What do you take, Kelly, when you see somebody, you watch these shows and they're like, because I'm on the fence with it, man. Because the detective will be like, well, it's not showing very much remorse, and he's not this. I mean, do you take that as like a legitimate reasoning on their guilt because of how we all deal with it? I would be numb. For instance, when my mom passed away, I didn't cry at the funeral. I didn't cry, at the wake. It didn't hit me until like a month later. Now I know being, murdered and just dying, on your own, maybe two different things, but it's still the death of a loved one. How much weight does that hold with you, Kelly?
It definitely stands out to me, like we talked about before, being a mom, like you said, we're all parents.
Mhm.
I can't imagine my child disappearing and having to live with the thought of, "I don't know,"
Yeah.
you know? And maybe it's because there isn't a body to mourn, and maybe that's why they haven't made the connection. Like you were saying, when your mom passed,
Sure.
maybe it took seeing her and then, taking time
And
to
it starts
process it.
processing, yeah.
Yeah, and so maybe that's where the disconnect is, but personally, I would be eaten alive not knowing where my child is. So I it definitely stands out as odd to me. Like we said before, I have a difficult time being in their head and understanding how they're not more terrified or searching more or saying police are wasting time looking. It's just strange, and I'm not saying they did it, but it's definitely
It
not the
yeah,
behavior I would expect.
no, exactly. Yeah, I mean, them ing out of, state and just more concerned about getting the boys out of state custody. Welcome, Ruby Slippers.
Tell you what, man, and reading the articles about the Solder father, anybody who gets, is interested in that, who hasn't heard about that, should check out that story. It's really interesting. He always believed his kids were alive, and he died in 1969, and this was in 1945. His whole life, he never, in any article that you read, referred to his kids in the past tense. Not once. He always believed his kids were alive.
And that's the thing, even the parents in their interviews in the Summer Wells case, they made the comment that they think she might still be alive. So then I would be fighting even more, knowing
Yeah.
that she might be out there and who
Yeah.
knows what's happening to her, whether she's lost outside, whether someone has a hold of her, what's happening to her at that time. So definitely
It,
weird
it,
to me.
exactly. Anyone just joining us, such as Ruby, we're just having an open discussion on numerous cases. CW, have you guys heard of the two missing ladies from Tennessee? Layla Santinello and Halen. I don't have my glasses. Is that an O or an A? Not
Holland, maybe?
yeah, not sure of Holland's surname. Too late. Is this recent CW? I've not heard of this.
I haven't either.
It's missing persons, man. I mean that's it only takes 48 hours for the the did I get your did you get my email? I will take and I will look right now. Um you only have that, they say that 48-hour window. After that, things don't look too good. Um
These types of situations have always irritated my soul a little bit. Like, I grew up watching, like, Core TV, ID channel, same things you guys watch, and I remember seeing the show Disappeared so many times and just being like, "What if that was my dad or my brother?" Or, "How would I move
Mhm.
on?" How do you wrap your head around not ever knowing? Like, there's finality to seeing a body, which is still awful. I mean, I can't imagine. It was hard seeing my dad when my dad passed, just making the comparison that you did. But
Mhm.
you know that it's happened then, it's reality. Where the other situation, I can't imagine. Like Amanda Berry's family, the other people that we talked about, Castro, that had those girls in his house for I think it
Yeah.
was like 14 or 15 years.
Right.
Imagine what their parents were going through, and then after the fact, finding out what they went through for 14 or 15 years. I that's what's in the back of my head always with these types of situations.
Yeah. Do you remember a movie from the early 80s called Without a Trace?
I do remember.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that name's yeah.
That that movie always makes me cry. That's what she's pretty much describing, a family who finally finds out at the end, man, he's been alive this whole time. It
Wow.
is
Yeah.
remarkable. We'll have
Can't
to
get
look
those
up.
years back. It's sad.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is.
sorry.
And when you brought up Ruby, I love that name, and every time I hear it, I get that Ruby Soho song stuck in my head
Oh my god.
every
Us
time you
Rancid
say it,
fans.
and I almost want to sit here and hum it and stuff.
Go ahead, hum away, man. We can have some background music. You can hum while me and Kelly are talking.
Well, I'll have to catch a Rancid show together. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Ruby, I did not see your email unless I was just doing a quick look there. I didn't see it, but please send another one. I didn't see it in spam or anything else. But please, now you live in Dreads at Gmail.
It got lost in the Google space.
It got lost in Google space. Kelly, what's a do you have any, now I know you were, you're a Baltimorean, by blood, I guess, but and now you're, up north a little bit in PA.
Yeah.
What any strange cases that you know of? I may have asked you this before, up there in PA, or just any case that's always intrigued you.
There's one recently actually back home, and I can't think of her name off the top of my head, and it's gonna irritate me, but this just happened a couple months ago, and your sister touched on it one of the shows, when I was just commenting and leaving
Right.
paragraphs. It was a girl in Glen Burnie on one of the trails out there, and she was bludgeoned to death. Rachel Morin, that's her name. So if you look it up, her name is Rachel Morin. But her family has no
I have
idea what
heard of
happened.
that.
Yeah, and she was young. I mean, I think she was in her 30s. I think she had 4 or 5 kids, was dating a guy that had domestic violence background. So to be honest, I kind of thought he wasn't going to get cleared, but they cleared him, and it was right behind his house where this girl was bludgeoned to death. And sounds like it was a pretty brutal crime scene, and that's also very similar to Delphi. It's a very common area for people to walk on trails. So for no one to see or hear anything, no one has a clue who it's linked to. That one has definitely caught my attention. I haven't seen anything progress with that case at all. And then the other one's kind of a more famous one that's always kind of I've loved is the Black Dahlia, which my tortoise is named after, because there's a lot of really interesting things surrounding that. I remember watching an episode years ago of an artist who actually had a picture that he painted that looked exactly like that, called the Bull, that looked like the top half of her body that was bisected, and her breasts were the eyes and her arms were upward. And he was actually a surgeon. So that, and the guy's son came forward later saying that he believes his dad was the one that did it. And that's one that's always, I wish we knew the answers to that one, because that one's always intrigued me too, especially because she was such a gorgeous girl. I love seeing her pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
I haven't really,
that is
looked
interesting.
a whole lot, into that. I know basically, what you told me, the gist of it.
Yeah.
The artist's name was what was it, Ray something? He had a
I
weird name,
can't,
that artist, Stingray or something like that. Yeah,
yeah, I actually have the book at my house and I can't think off the top of my head, but just the fact that her body was completely bisected too. There's only
yeah.
certain vertebrae you can go through to bisect a body, and generally the average person isn't going to know where that is. So it has to
And
be
how do
someone with
you
some
know
medical
it?
background. I told you,
And
watch out for me. There's
drained
a
of
lot of
blood.
nerves in there.
I know, right?
The Black
But yeah, no,
Dahlia.
that one's always interested me.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you on that. The Black Dahlia is really interesting.
And Jack
Yeah,
the Ripper, I know that's one
and
of your favorites too.
yeah, the Ripper.
Oh yeah, I've been into Jack the Ripper since I was 10. And my dad was bringing books home and stuff about Jack the Ripper and the JFK assassination. Hey, thanks, Pop. That's why I'm a conspiracy theory.
Thanks, Pops.
He was. He bring home these gruesome books. Had the crime scene photos and stuff. And I was a little kid. I was fascinated by it. Who is this? Yeah, Jack the Ripper.
Same.
Yeah, welcome, Mr. Nanners. Yeah, I'd have to say, man, I've always, I don't know what it is. I've always been into the whole Manson thing. I know that has been drugged through the mud, that story, and
It's what's funny, dude, is that I don't, because I am such a firm believer that Manson is it's nonsense, and I haven't even called it the Manson murders. I call it the Tate and LaBianca murders for the longest
Yeah.
time.
yeah.
I won't give on it. Manson's not a serial killer.
I have to agree with that. That case irritates me a little bit just because they call him a serial killer. Like, it was still a crazy crime, and it's crazy that you can manipulate someone's brain enough to get them to do those things. That part's fascinating because I love psychology, but at the same time, what did he do? He didn't do anything.
And
So
even
I
if
have a
he,
hard time. Oh,
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
even if he did, it's still not a serial killing. That's a spree killing.
Mm.
Those are Tate and LaBianca
Period of time.
murders. They're not serial killing. So But I like it when you see like serial killer books or something. Usually Manson's face is on the cover.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's
It
and
drives
that's
me
a book that
crazy.
I'm just going to put down because you're already discredited in my mind. I'm not going to believe a fucking word you say
Yep.
once you say serial killer and Charles Manson in the same sentence.
Right.
I just can't do it. I mean, when are we going to, get over that? I understand he's like the face of evil. No, he's the face of a manipulator.
Yeah.
You
Agreed.
know, I've always said, if I say, you know what, Bobby, I hate that guy over there, you know, blah blah blah. That guy, he ruined my life, and he did this, and he did that, and you're so, I won't say, worshiping or anything, but we're such good friends. You take it upon yourself to kill him. Does that make me a murderer? You can see you're a grown ass man. Tex Watson, all them we're grown ass adults. They could have said yes, they could have said no, but there was such an idolizing of Manson that you know they would do anything for him. But you took that on your own, and Manson has said it numerous times. Here we go. You got me fucking started.
Well, see, all people have to do is clue in on how big of a bullshitter Bugliosi was anyway.
And you can't bullshitters here on
Exactly.
Trill Crime.
Yeah, we can go over Manson a lot anytime. That's one of those that is it's a tried and true conversation right there. The
I
Manson.
think the Zodiac's another one you guys did a
Yes.
show on, and that one's more recent. So that's actually still really interesting to me too, because I do wonder if there's more than one person that was a copycat, or if it was really all one person. That's pretty interesting too. I
Mhm.
watched one of the shows about that where they think it was 2 or 3 different people. So that's another one that drives me crazy because I want to know more about it.
CW commenting on the Rachel Morin case says it's so scary and brutal. DNA at the scene was linked to an assault in LA with
Yeah.
CCTV, but the guy is still not been around.
What I don't understand about that footage that they put out from LA, because apparently that was from like a house assault, is the guy looks like I believe they called him like a 5'10", 6-foot Hispanic male. And you see the guy walk out, he doesn't have a shirt on. He turns around, looks at somebody in the door as if he's speaking to somebody in the door, and then turns around and just walks away. So it's almost like that was a casual conversation, not, hey, I just assaulted you and I'm sprinting from the house. So I was kind of confused by that footage when they released it, and they said that he was linked to that case because of DNA, but they never elaborated on that video. So that one was a little bit confusing because it seemed like a positive interaction, not like a, hey, I'm in a hurry to get out of here type interaction.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I have seen a few things in the YouTube sphere, I think about that. That CW says that CCTV is
Exactly.
so odd. Yeah, doesn't look like an invasion at all.
Yeah.
Just complimenting your thoughts there. That's another one I'm gonna have to look into.
Me
See,
too.
I like this open discussion. I'm
Yeah.
getting some cases to jot down to take and look at.
Yeah, I've never
This is
seen it.
good
Yeah.
stuff.
I feel like we've been
I
so
haven't
hyper focused. Sorry. I
right,
feel like we've
right.
been so hyper focused on Delphi waiting for something new, and now it just seems, same with Idaho, now it's indefinitely postponed. It's like there's no new information coming in, which sucks. Of course, we want that for the families, but we've been so
Sure.
focused on it. I feel like we've lost sight of other things going on.
No, absolutely. I mean, and that'll happen. Ruby, okay, you just sent one. I haven't received it yet. Make sure you don't put an A in Dreds. I don't know if it's a spelling issue
I've made that mistake.
or whatever. Yeah. But Bobby, were you going to say something?
No, not really. I was just thinking about all the cases I brought up on in the 90s. It was like the West Memphis 3. I remember the OJ thing was real big. And, in the 80s, there was, we had, what's his name? Ramirez, the Night Stalker, and things.
That's a scary motherfucker right
Yes.
there.
That
Dude,
should be the face of evil,
That
especially
is
for these
really
that
rotten
is
ass
the
teeth.
face of evil.
Yeah.
And what is scary to me is that one, it happens at night.
Mhm.
He will just it's a B&E
Yeah.
with the intent to kill. But the scariest part about that is that unlike a lot of serial killers in the past, they have certain people that they go after, whether it's prostitutes
Yeah.
or it's gay men or it's just black or just white. There's a lot of he didn't give a shit.
No.
If old, white, black, Hispanic, young, it didn't matter. Everybody was a target, and
Yeah.
that to me is fucking terrifying.
I like the
My
way they
favorite
call
part. Sorry,
Oh,
that's
sorry.
that's
Kelly?
literally what I was getting ready to say.
Oh,
My
go ahead
favorite
then.
part is when they beat his ass in the street after they
Yeah.
found him.
Yeah, they did.
Yes, that is awesome,
Yeah.
man. And it
Yeah.
took just somebody seeing his face on the paper, and they beat him down till the cops got there and held him. That's civilian justice
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Where's Bill Coker when we need him? I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say,
Yeah.
but I
You'd think
mean,
that was a cut and dry case. That one blows
you
my
would think
mind.
it would be.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
as cut and dry as what they think Delphi is with Richard Allen. You have almost zero
Yeah.
Exactly.
on Richard Allen, and everything points to Bill, and he's out walking around.
It's crazy. I'm
I don't know what's more what is more corrupt. I don't understand what's going on.
I don't run into many cases that I look at where I'm absolutely 100%. I always try to leave 5% out there or so because things have changed.
Sure.
Mhm.
But with the Coker case, I am 100% certain of who did
Yeah.
that. I don't even need to look at it anymore. I'm convinced guilty.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves their day in court, but they ain't even giving this guy a day in court.
No, they haven't even charged him.
The most-
I mean, how much do you need? You had people saying, yes, he would jump that fence lots of times. A ball would get thrown over there. He jumped that fence. He's used to it.
he tried to run her over.
He tried to run her over.
Yeah.
I mean, what more do you need?
I feel I'm embarrassed.
Are we back in the Are we back in the 1800s in the Jack of the Ripper, age where you have to catch him in the act to assign guilt? What the fuck?
I really
Not in
found
Indiana though.
Oh,
Not in Indiana.
I really found out how I always had a little bit of faith in the people that live around me here as far as having common sense and stuff. But like I said, the detectives and the prosecutor in the Coker case make the fucking Delphi investigators look like Texas Rangers.
I don't
It's embarrassing.
I mean, maybe I just don't understand law, and the process of it. Okay. Maybe I don't get it, but I'm with the prosecution on that. I think, that you have somebody in the crosshairs, and I don't understand why haven't, I mean, again,
There's got to
maybe
be something we're
maybe I
all
just
missing.
don't understand the law.
I wish if there was a piece that we're missing that somebody out there knows that they'd let us know because apparently we're all missing it. I just can't figure out what that piece is that they have that we're not seeing because
Right.
everything leads back to him.
I can tell you exactly what happened.
Oh God, here we go.
Casey Anthony happened. See, here's the thing. They know that they're going to get somebody on this jury who's going to look at this and go, well, I'm still not convinced.
Yeah.
They want the DNA. They want eyewitnesses. They want that stuff because without it, they figure we don't have a case. But I'll tell you, I do have enough faith in the people around here that if they saw that evidence, I think that at least the majority of people are going to say, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that he had the motive and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what happened. Casey Anthony happened when they found out that there was all that evidence that pointed to her and they still let her go. Now these prosecutors are like, man, I don't know if I want to waste my time on it if I don't have actual shit. But my thing to that is you're never going to know until you try. Nothing. What's the worst that's going to happen? The guy's going to be back out there with his kids anyway. Well, that's the same thing that's happening now. Give justice a chance. Cheryl's life had value and it mattered, and they're treating it like it was no big deal at all. It's ridiculous. And it's frustrating.
No, it really is. As far as Indiana CW, she made a great point. Anything goes in Indiana. Mere presence in a blue jacket is enough to get you strung up. Not here. Not here in in Dayton.
No, you can get away with it as long as you don't leave DNA. Just wear gloves and a mask and try not to get any skin cells.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if 15 people see you.
Yeah, you just cover your face.
Yeah. They can have video of
And
you walking back to your home.
Speaking on the Casey Anthony thing, I don't know if you guys got to see the documentary with her side of the story. Did you guys ever get to watch that?
I couldn't watch it out of frustration.
Yeah, I don't think.
Gosh. Talking about not being able to bullshitters, because I was losing my fucking mind the whole time I listened to her speak. I can't believe people even get, and I felt almost guilty watching it, like I shouldn't be giving her the time of day. But the fact that people fucking gave her an entire show over that, for her to sit and bullshit and not be concerned about her child, is the most, that's another case that's unsolved that pisses me off to no end. I mean, everything, and it all pointed back to my dad.
Yeah.
I don't believe that shit for a second. Unless your dad was helping with it, I don't believe that shit for a second. I'm sorry. As a mom, my kid ain't missing, and I'm out partying and getting tattoos and saying I got a free life, party life out here. That's bullshit.
She took the fucking police on a wild goose chase for a month. Said, I worked here. There's this Oneida woman. None of it turned out to be true. She obviously didn't give a shit. I didn't need to see anymore after that point. But like I said, the jury didn't convict. And man, I don't know how. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, you raise a good point, Bobby, with maybe prosecution, maybe that put that thought in any prosecution's head that, oh man, we got to have some rock solid shit, unless we're in Delphi, as CW mentioned.
I was going to say, Richard Allen better be a free ass man then. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the Casey Anthony case, they even had the tape that they found on the mouth of the body, or the sticker. It was the same sticker in Casey Anthony's room. I mean, what more do you need?
Yeah.
A sticker was obviously put on there after the kid died, but you get these jurors, and it seems to happen in Florida a lot. Florida is a great place, I know, but man, oh man, what's wrong with the jurors down there? They know how to pick them.
Yeah,
ridiculous, man. But
you want another creepy? Oh, sorry, I keep doing that to you, Bobby.
I was babbling. Go ahead.
I was gonna say another creepy case that popped into my head is Richard Chase. I think he was called the Vampire Brooklyn. I want to say was like his slogan. Yeah, that one blew my mind. I did a project on that when I was in high school, because his big no, I've been a weirdo for a while. Don't worry. But I remember
that's why you're here.
One of the things he said was he picked his victims if their door was unlocked. If your door was unlocked, it means I'm welcomed in. Like, that shit always sticks in my head when I close my doors now. Like, I don't want some fucking weirdo being like, oh, her door's unlocked. It means I can come in and hang out.
Means but, if you're an actual vampire, you need to be invited.
That's true.
Right. That's true. That is true. He probably disagreed with his name.
Yeah. No, that one's crazy. I've watched that. I watched a couple, little docs on that. But it's been a while, so I'm not like really hip on all the details. But that apparently you have been for quite some time.
Yeah. Yeah, he was decapitating a baby.
Welcome,
and
Joni.
Draining people's blood in bathtubs just because they left their front door open. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's nuts. Welcome, Joni. She caught the live finally.
Nice.
Yeah, we just having an open discussion on just a bunch, anything Trill Crime. It's stuck. I mean, Bobby Tutrill, that name came out just as a joke. And now it has influenced the name of the fucking podcast.
Yeah, I'm curious. And this goes with anybody who's listening too. On a scale of from 1 to 100, how convinced are you that Richard Allen is the murderer in Delphi?
100 being you completely convinced.
Convinced, and
are negatives allowed in this?
Sure.
Right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, zero. I don't. I mean, there is. I will say this. There is, like you said. Um, you always try to keep that 5%
Yeah.
because there's a lot of things we don't know. I'll keep 1% open that maybe, okay, may I don't even believe he was involved
Right.
completely, but maybe there's that 1%. But basically, yeah, zero. Welcome,
I,
Andrea,
I leave that 5% out there
zero.
in that case. Um, I'm fully 5% sure that he did it. And the only reason I'm leaving that out is because I still don't really know all the prosecution has. And maybe there's a chance that they come out and say, look, we got the clothes from his house and we found the girl's DNA on it. And if we get a bombshell like that or something, then I'm going to have to obviously bump that up. But other than something miraculous like that happening, yeah, I'm only at about 5% sure that he did it. So
That's where I
95.
stand. I'm about the same. I don't see it making sense. Nothing about that man makes sense to me at all. Just
I mean,
especially with all the other things that have been speculated. And I'm not saying I get people get far fetched with shit, but some of it's not that far fetched. And I mean, we discussed. Do you care if I'm putting names out there? I don't think you do. I know you you did before, but like the Brad Holder thing, like
yeah,
I have a really hard time, especially with those two sketches. It really
yep,
resembles him and his son, and it's the
Mhm.
son that was dating her supposedly online. If you hold those sketches over top of each other, the eyes, the nose, the mouth are almost identical. It's just one looks younger, one looks older. And I could definitely see that being he's obviously very involved in his kids being in the Freemasons and
yep,
doing things like that. I could they admitted that they took their kids to these events for the they're not calling it Odinist, they're calling it Freelander events or whatever. Or
yeah,
free Vinlanders. Am I saying that
yeah,
correct? Yeah, okay.
yeah,
So, I mean, that's obviously a family affair, and the fact that they're saying that Patrick Westphal and him stopped talking around that same time, I had this odd feeling, especially after watching Patrick Westphal's interview, that he had something to do with Flora Four. They went to do something here in Delphi. They disagreed. He left, and then he sat there and shit on what Brad Holder did because he said, "Well, if it was for Odin, I'd have done it a hell of a lot better, or it would have been done a hell of a lot better." That's not something you fucking say about kids getting murdered. Like that's just
yeah,
not something you
Right.
say. And he didn't like Brad. And then the sketches match. There's a connection there with one of the girls. Everything about it just screams him
yeah.
to me, and yet no one's looking into him.
Yeah, there would be
So,
a way for him through his kid to know that they were there that day.
or to get
The
him there.
Yeah, and the pictures that he drew, like the paintings and
Yes,
stuff, and everything on his Facebook that points to this, the cut branches and stuff that he's using to make
Yeah.
these runes, and this was
I mean, there's
before the
video
crimes.
of him cutting
Yeah,
these things. I mean,
it it does it makes me very interested in him for
it
sure.
almost seems like he's bragging about it on his Facebook page. And then when people make comments about that, it's like, oh, fucking mind your business. Like, I don't give a shit what you think. Like, I would be trying to help the investigation. I don't care if I know the kids or not. We don't
Yeah,
know the kids, but we're here trying. You actually had a connection at some point with these kids, and your response is, oh, I don't fucking care. It's just, it's everything about it's weird. I don't know.
he he is sure acting like somebody like the Zodiac or the Son of Sam murders, where he likes to put little things out there to antagonize people and shit like that. Like put
yeah.
little
Mhm.
hints out there. Like look at me. Like the witness who described his hat as being a short brimmed hat. He's wore those for a long time, and I got to tell you,
Yeah.
in my life, I've not known many people who have worn those.
Yeah.
They're
Yep.
pretty rare on guys around here, but everything seems to fit with him, even down to the reason that we found out about him in the first place is because one of the family members pointed him out. So you might want to
Mm.
take a look at this guy.
Yep.
And that was who was that, Abby's family, I do believe. He was dating his son was dating Abby, or what they call dating when you're that age.
Mhm.
And I think it
Talking
was the
about
grandmom that pointed him out.
yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, Ruby says perhaps Alan was a witness and then was threatened.
Could have been.
It's possible
Yeah.
too.
I have something that was sent to me regarding Summer Wells. Thank you, Ruby, for this little link. We're going to Don Wells, a tape confession. What is this all about? Let's find out. Well, let me turn the volume up.
Summer Wells. Summer Wells. She was 5 years old when she went missing June 15th, 2021. She has still not been found. She vanished. Last seen around her property where her parents, Don and Candace Wells, lived. Rogersville, Tennessee, Hawkins County. Where is Summer Wells? Let's talk about Don Wells because I'm going
Yeah,
to
let's
share
talk about
a
Don Wells.
clip of Don Wells. This is very disturbing, but it must be shared with everyone to bring insight into who Don Wells is. This is shocking to the core. Very, let me just say, it's dealing with Don Wells, his bedroom, sleeping with Summer Wells. He admits he slept with Summer Wells. And I want to share this clip right here, and then we will further discuss. Check it out.
But again, how many times have your kids called in the bed?
She slept in between me and Candace for 5 years straight.
Why?
Because I tried to get her sick in her own bed, and she come to me one night. I said, Summer, you're sick in your own bed. She went in there and laid down, and she come back. She was with tears in her eyes. She says, but Daddy, I just want to be with you. And I says, okay, Summer. I couldn't tell her no.
Yeah.
How do you tell your little girl no when she wants to sleep with you? I can't.
Yes, she can.
Oh my, wow. Oh, gives me goosebumps. It makes me.
Is that the actual bed? Because that gave me goosebumps.
That was a little disgusting.
Ugh.
I certainly hope not. That was the actual bed.
Mad listening to that.
Mad.
Summer Wells was 5 years old when she went missing. Don Wells claims he slept with her for 5 years straight.
So she never slept in like a crib or anything?
I do not know. I know her bed was not too far away. I think they were both in the basement, if I remember right. It depends on what, I need context with that, really, honestly, man, because a lot of kids, it's been a thing, it's as old as time, I'm scared, I want to be in bed with you, that kind of thing. But, for bed.
Is that sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, for bed's right next to him and stuff, then I don't see why she wasn't sleeping in her own bed.
I mean, like Johnny, she says, kids crawl into bed with her all the time.
Yep.
My youngest daughter, would always want to, sleep with Mrs. Dreds, and she'd always have to have her hand, up in her hair. It was the thing, and she did that for years. So
my question was more, is that the same video where he discusses sleeping with her naked or showering with her? Because that takes it to the next extreme. Sleeping in bed with them clothed, they're little, who cares? Now, if they're 15, 16 years old sleeping in your bed, that's a different story. Yeah. But if they're naked, that's a different story. If you're naked, in my opinion, that's a different story. And then if you're showering with a 5-year-old, that's a very different story too.
Absolutely.
Because I know she had brought that up last time. I just wasn't sure if it was the same video I remember Ruby bringing up.
Yeah.
And we have all bathed our kids at that age, but you never get naked and hop into the tub with them, that kind of deal. No. Yeah, that's a lot of strangeness with those two going on. Her relationship with that 15-year-old and everything makes me wonder about all of them, really.
Mm-hmm.
No, it really does. I mean, if you're, like you said, if you're sleeping,
and the boys were taken away from them.
Something more it has definitely, I mean, they could be taking the kids away just because of the shape of the house. Dirty, or whatever, just unhealthy. They they'll take your kids, for that. Let's see what we got here. Ruby says they had in the basement, two in the corner, no wall between until DHS demanded the wall. More videos coming.
Awesome.
She's gonna blow me up. That's fine.
That's sweet.
That's fine. It's one thing sharing with your little kids, but wear pants, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and I'm of that. I'm of that
100%.
too. I
Me
mean,
too.
if you're fully clothed and your kids want to jump into bed and
Yeah.
they find comfort, in
Yeah.
that, by all means, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But wear pants.
Yes. If you know, your kid's gonna be
that
safe.
is just, I don't know. To me, that is just odd.
They sell jammy pants everywhere, man.
Yeah, I mean that is just and I ain't talking about underwear. No, I'm talking about
Jammy pants.
I just put some jammies on,
Yeah.
put some old footies on, footy pajamas. I had some of those Spider-Man footy pajamas.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm dating myself.
Can I borrow?
Yeah, that's where it kind of crosses the line with me. I can understand, crawling in the bed. I get that. But yeah, put some pants on, dude.
100%.
100%.
Ruby, do you have the video you were talking about with him? I guess going further with that, because I think there was two people last time. It might have been Joni as well, saying that they had seen the video of him discussing showering with her and sleeping naked with her. I wonder if they have that video that they can send to us. I didn't find that. I don't know if they have access to that so that they can send to us. Because that, like I said, I think that takes it a little further.
She is. Did I? Oh, there it is. Let me see. Okay, so I just got the two, just that one video right now. Yes, I had found it. Okay.
We appreciate it.
I think it was on a phone interview. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. And we appreciate this, guys. Yeah. I mean, by all means, Night of the Living Dreads, no A in Dreads at Gmail. Send us, whatever. You got it. Ruby's on it. She is, man. She is on it.
Big into the
And
summer.
she's got a cool name.
Yeah.
And she got a cool.
Yeah, like the name Ruby a lot.
Sing it.
I'm not going to do that to people.
I'm on bad.
I thought we were going to get graced with his appearance today. I was excited.
I don't have a camera with me. I don't even have a phone with me.
Oh, well, we're going to get you set up.
I mean, I can come over there and say hi.
Hey, she's waving you over.
Oh, I can't see you.
There you go. Bobby Trill.
One day I'll stop cutting you off too.
Oh, no, do it, because that lets me know that you're ready to speak. Can you hear me on here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Well, stay Trill.
Stay Trill.
I'll be over here in my corner.
Ruby says, please sing.
I can't. No, I'm sorry. I will have to draw a line there. I'm a guitar player.
She wants you to sing a song about her name.
Oh, well, I'd have to write one, I guess.
He has been spotted, folks. He is real, Joni says. That's right. He is not just an AI voice back there.
I'm sure you could tell that. I'm not precise enough to be an AI voice.
Right.
I can't even tell the story. You guys watch Mr. Ballin at all? That's one of my favorite channels on YouTube, because the dude tells stories about stuff like this, about anything, killers, missing people. But man, the way he tells a story and paints a picture, man, is really good. I dig his channel a lot. Actually.
That's hard to do.
It is.
Storytelling.
Great storyteller.
Yeah.
And they're all true stories, which makes it even neater. He's an ex-Navy SEAL. He's
What's the name again?
Mr. Ballin.
Ballen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, that's what that reminded me of.
Mr. B. Allen. Joni says talented. I guess Ballin.
Yeah. Great storyteller.
Yeah, that is hard to do. I do not have that knack.
Yeah. He can really paint a picture.
My head goes everywhere. My youngest daughter's like that too. She'll start telling a story and you'll get 18 side stories before you get to the point of the original story.
Oh, tell me about it, man. I'll start talking about Jack the Ripper. 10 minutes later, I'm deep into the Zodiac stuff.
Yeah. Now you're getting messed with. No, Andrea says he really does look like Bridge Guy.
I told you. Was I lying? I ain't lying to you. Guys down the hill.
He can recreate a story. The Ballin. Yeah, you can recreate a story.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
How many times can I tell you? It's hard to fucking do.
Yeah. I wish I could do that.
I know, right? Well, this has been fun. People got to see our own little Bridge Guy here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you, man, 50% of us in the Midwest look like that guy.
I know. It's very true. We all wear, I don't wear Carhartts. I got a Levi's.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on. I'll show you.
Oh, no, this is Arizona. Oh, look. Oh, my God. He does have it.
Yeah. I was going to show him there.
Look.
There's my Carhartt jacket, too. Hold on. It says it on there somewhere. There it is. There's my Carhartt. I told you.
It's a staple.
Book him.
Hell.
Yeah. Where were you on February 13th? Ruby wants to know.
I plead the 5th. I couldn't tell you. I haven't been to Indiana since 2004, so I wasn't in Indiana. I tell you that for sure.
Boy, you talk about speculation in the Delphi case. We're going to be on the hot seat now. People are going to think we got fucking Bridge Guy with it. He showed us Carhartt and his, his little goatee there.
I got my hoodie on.
Yeah, you got your hoodie on.
I don't have no brown pouch.
No,
I never have.
Likely story.
I'm innocent, I tell you. Yeah.
Well, he said he didn't do it, so we gotta let him go.
Yeah.
That's right out of the Dayton law books. If he says he didn't do it,
yeah, you can't do nothing. I live near Dayton anyway.
Got another Coburger. I was just out driving around.
Yeah, just clearing my head. Clearing my head.
Yeah. Dude, I just run to the fucking Monon High Bridge. Only 4.5 hours away. I was like, fuck, man, that's pretty out there.
Yeah. It's good hiking.
I do want to go to Delphi at some point. It looks like a nice town.
You better not wear that Carhartt.
I'm going to have to really dress up.
Yeah. Don't wear the Carhartt. I mean, it's the jeans. He even has the blue jeans on.
Yeah.
The blue jeans.
I don't have boots. So.
You don't have like the little hiking type boots. You left them at the house, I guess. Huh?
Yeah. Those are steel toed.
Yeah.
We'll buy him a little leather purse to carry around.
Yeah. I don't have a knife on me or nothing. I'm not trying to even make fun of anything with the Delphi case.
No.
Just the thought of that there are so many people who look like him. That's why it's so much speculation. It really kind of didn't help, but it did. At the same time. But look, we got the same thing here. Bill Coker seen on camera, and we can't get it right either. So
yeah.
But no,
you actually look more like Joey Votto. I hear you're a free agent.
I'm gonna spend the rest of my career with the Reds.
Joey Votto, first baseman for the Cincinnati Reds. Yeah, go ahead, Google it, and then go back and take a screenshot when Bobby pops his head in. You'll think, oh my God, he's got Joey Votto and Bridge Guy there. Jesus. Oh yeah, man. We come correct with the guests. Next on the show, Joey Votto.
Bill Coker.
Oh God,
We need
I'd
to
love
get
to
him
talk
on.
to him though.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
He probably wouldn't love to talk to us.
He
No.
wouldn't. He would not like that at
No,
all. Stay away from Indiana, CW says.
I do.
You have to.
Yeah, I stayed away from it before the murders.
See, luckily, I don't look anything like most Midwesterners.
No.
I got dreads down to my butt crack, and I don't
You
look.
might pass for a Manson.
I had the nickname since 15.
There you go.
I had the nickname since 15, Manson. People still call me that. That and Jesus before the beard went gray.
I used to tell him that his son, when he was growing up, looked like the younger pictures of Charles Manson.
He
all the
really
time.
did too. He looked like, if you look at some of the like childhood pictures of Manson, and then there's a couple pictures of my son CJ.
Maybe
who-
we need to be looking into his bloodline. Maybe that's why he's so interested in true crime.
Yeah, here's something funny. Here's a little parting story. As we get ready to bid you all a farewell. I had on my computer, this was years ago. I think my son may have been, oh hell, maybe 8. He was younger than 10. Anyway, he on my PC, my screensaver was a picture of Charles Manson.
Yeah.
He literally went up and asked Mrs. Dreds, why does Dad have a picture of himself on his computer? He thought it was me. My own son thought it
Oh
was.
my God.
Yes. I was so proud of him that day.
You're the real bullshitter, I guess, then. He was a pretty good bullshitter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, man, Manson's pretty interesting to listen to, no matter how much you hate him or like
Oh,
him,
yeah.
man.
Dude.
It's always a fun listen.
Yeah. Man.
You never knew what you were going to get with that guy when he walked into the room.
You never know. I need to, this is how, just bear with me one moment, because that's how we're going to close this show out. I'm going to find a Manson clip, and we're going to take, Manson's going to take, because we always joke, man, we're going to talk about Manson today.
It's been a joke for a long time.
It's been a joke for a long time. And oh yeah, the epic answer. This is great. So next week I'm hoping to have we're hoping, like I said, to talk with one of Shelley's. Her name is Shelley. One of Cheryl's friends. And what I told her I wanted to do was I want to talk about Cheryl. We sometimes forget who we're talking about here. I want to know all about her. I want to know about, her and Bill's relationship. I want to know if there's something that wasn't said by the media, that didn't get put out there, by the media, that may be a clue. We're like the Scooby Gang. This is our mystery machine. And so it's not, I don't want to, it doesn't even have to be, into the, the whole nuts and bolts of the case. I just want to know more about Cheryl.
Put her in
And
a positive light after Bill said so many negative things, because I really do feel like a lot of that was untrue. So give her the spotlight back.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
agree. I mean,
Yeah.
like I've mentioned before, man, this case gets no airplay, gets no media attention except on an anniversary day, once a year. And that's ridiculous. I would hope that if any one of us or you, the listeners, something tragic like this happened, to you or a loved one, that your local media would not just turn a blind eye and make it a big deal for the first year or whatever, and then just brush it under the rug. That's not how you get things done. You have to keep these cases, in the public's mind all the time. It has to be put out there. I've been thinking about making flyers, putting flyers everywhere. Remember this case? Guess what? A possible murderer is running around your neighborhood. Why don't you give a fuck, people?
Right.
That's really the big point here.
Yeah.
Somebody murdered this woman, and there's nobody in custody, which means somebody here locally is running around with blood on their hands.
Yeah. Left her on the side of the road like garbage. A mother, hard worker, a person just like everybody that we know. Her life has value. It has meaning and reason, and he took it away.
And that's a great way to put it. Her life did have value, and it doesn't seem like it had value when it was a big news story. Again, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole saying, and it's aggravating. It's infuriating that people just, who cares? Because nowadays we walk around with fucking blinders on, but our blinders is this, looking down at our phone, looking at the next, viral TikTok fucking video, completely oblivious that, hey, guess what? You got somebody walking around here with fucking blood on their hands. And no matter where you are, I'm just speaking, to here locally, because I'm sure somewhere, I mean, this is happening, somewhere else.
And ultimately, this is why we like to do this stuff and talk about it, because there is value there that was lost. Abby and Libby, Cheryl, all these people, you care about them. You get to know their stories and stuff and realize, man, these are just like your kids and your neighbors. And these are just like the people that it can happen to anybody.
Any fucking body.
They deserve
they deserve better.
They do.
And there are news articles to people like us, or people out there. That's these families' whole world. I can't imagine. It might seem small to some of us that read, or not to us specifically, but I'm saying the public just reading through a news article or listening to a news channel. But that's someone's whole life that's destroyed. That's not hey, I get over it tomorrow. This is years of hurt.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, we're all going on with our lives, with our families intact and safe and whatnot. That is not the case with Cheryl's family, with Abby and Libby's family. With dozens of other cases.
When it involves kids like that, it's really hard on me too. And like looking up the Summer Wells, I said it right at the beginning. That's going to be a hard one for me to even look at, because, man, what a little sweetheart. And I feel horrible.
Yeah.
And it's hard to even look at and stuff like that. I've shed a few tears, Abby and Libby and stuff over the years, their family and stuff. Sat around and thought and had some tears roll out.
Sure. I mean, you think about, with me a lot of times, and, when there are kids involved, I'll think about, man, what if that happened to my child? And it will, I guess I'm just a little more empathetic than the normal people, but, it does. I think about it, my youngest daughter, the Flora 4.
We need to cover that too.
Yeah, my youngest daughter, that is one that we should look more into. My youngest daughter, she went out to Chicago, of all places, by herself.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, have you ever heard of H.H. Holmes? All right. Do you realize the murder rate in Chicago?
Yeah.
Me and my wife she's 20 something. She's living life. She wants to do these things, She's kind of a free spirit. She's grounded in her work and in her, her education and whatnot, going to school, nursing and whatnot. But she is kind of a free spirit, and she wants to live and do these things. She just pick up and it's like, fucking Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, and that shit, the whole time we made her call her call us every night. When you
That gives
call
me
us-
anxiety thinking about it because I'm not at that
Yeah.
stage yet. My kids were complaining because I walked to the bus stop with them, which is literally on our property. We have one lane and it's at the end of our lane, and I won't let them stand at the bus stop by themselves.
I don't
I'm
blame
not ready for going to other states or driving and leaving the house without me. That gives me terrible anxiety.
Yeah,
get it.
it is. Yeah, it's horrible. So, all right. Hey, man, great show. Thank you, Kelly 2 Trill, Bobby 2 Trill, and I'm
Hey.
Otis B Trill. That's
Hey,
right.
Otis B.
NLD's
Trill.
Trill Crime. We're all Trill. And as promised,
Oh,
yes.
real quick before
Sure.
we go, just a little homework for people.
Mm.
On your Facebook, go to Brad Holder's page and scroll down to where you hear him talking and listen to his voice.
The little voice comparison, the guys down the
Pretty
hill.
convincing to me, man. He's got that Southern Georgia draw.
And you said that he says guys a lot.
That was Patrick Westfall.
Westfall.
Yeah.
And it sounds familiar too when he says it. I'm just saying it's hard to hear that, but just a little homework and see what you think.
I got some more homework for you too. There is an Indiegogo, an indie horror film that I'm involved with, and I would greatly appreciate going to check it out. Hellvira's Haunted Asylum of Horror. It's in demand over there on Indiegogo, and doesn't have a hell. I don't even know if it's if we've run out of time yet, but I think it may have just a little bit more time to go over there. If you can't donate, please share far and wide. Thank you guys. It was fun. Thank you all, especially in the chat. Great comments. Are you triggering? Me neither. What? Hold on. Let me get these out of the way. And she wears the red light, the flashing red light. I guess that's is that for the kids or something?
I don't know.
Probably being scared to let your kids out of your sight. I can imagine that.
Yeah. And as promised, Charlie, I got a little minute or so clip of Charlie. I'm gonna get him on the podcast. I mean,
He probably would.
and
That's fun.
this is the closest we'll ever get to getting Charlie on the podcast. So you guys have a great Monday. Enjoy your week. It's been fun. Bam! Look at that. She's in and out. All right. Have a good week, guys. Charlie, take us away.
People look at you today, 20 years later, and they still have no idea what you're about. Tell me in a sentence who you are.
Nobody. I'm nobody. I'm a tramp, a bum, a hobo. I'm a boxcar and a jug of wine. And a straight razor if you get too close to me.